Good evening, folks. It's Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, the Yonkers housing crisis. Let's go over that. Good evening, this is Freddy Vazquez with Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, the housing crisis in Yonkers is getting bad. Why are people living in the conditions that they're living in here in the city of Yonkers? What's going on? Where are our elected officials? Good evening, folks. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. They're coming at me, man. They're coming at a lot of people. Why? Because we're truth tellers. That's why. Truth tellers is who we are. And so, as a result of my truth telling, my wife is being attacked. Not even me. They're not even saying anything about me. It's my wife. My wife's being attacked by Yonkers Newswire and Yonkers Voice. They're partners, right? And so I just want to go and speak really to the Ridgeway Alliance Church. Some lies being told about me here, Ridgeway. And this is the organization that I guess is donating the goods or sponsoring the Tasha Diaz food drive. And it's done with the gentleman by the name of Jeffrey Meyer. Now, people are coming to me and saying, from volunteers to people who have gotten food there and have said to me that the food was no good. Okay. And I just reported that. I never said it. I saw it myself, but people have said that. Many people. And just yesterday, Tasha Diaz, the majority leader, went on Yonkers Voice to discuss the dates that are found on the food that they distribute. Why? Because people emailed the Yonkers Voice and complained about the expiration date and said the food was bad. They also said people got sick. I didn't say it. I just spoke about it. And so they're coming at me now. Unbelievable. But not just me. They're coming out. I don't care about me. They come at me. That's fine. I can deal with it. That's what I do this, right? I should expect it. I'm not mad. But they come at other people. And I want to make this very clear why they're attacking other people besides me, right? This guy is unbelievable. This guy attacks everyone. So he puts a post. Jews, Christians, and Muslims teachings say that what the Mike Cater's family and their youthful idiot, and that's me, are doing to food insecure seniors, the disabled, and struggling Yonkers family is an abomination that is disgust all right-minded people in the city of Hills. For the Cater Clan village idiot to be attacking, maliciously slandering Jeffrey Meyer and the Ridgeway Alliance Church food pantry. Ridgeway Alliance, I said nothing bad about you guys. Nor did I say anything bad about Jeffrey Meyer, though he said a lot of bad things about me. Listen, Ridgeway Alliance, the people who attend this church, okay, the parishioners, I want you to be very clear what the issue is. Tasha Diaz, who is the majority leader here for the Yonkers City Council, is using your food pantry for political reasons. Do you guys only donate this food to the people of Yonkers who are in need of it because Tasha Diaz has been elected? Or are you doing this because you're giving food to the people that need it, regardless who's in office? This is what I've asked Jeffrey Meyer. That's it. And he went on this rant, insulting me and stuff like that. So who's slandering who, Jeffrey? And so I want the Ridgeway Alliance to be very clear. I'm not bad-mouthing the food drive, but people have said things about the quality of the food. And I get it. They're getting it for free, right? They shouldn't complain. But they have gotten sick, according to emails that Ruros from Yonkers Voice received. So I'm just putting that out there. I think people should know. Tasha Diaz goes on and says that it's still good, although it loses its nutrients. Well, I guess they got something in their stomach, whether it has nutrients or not. So I am not attacking poor people or people in need. This is what this guy in Yonkers Voice are saying. I'm actually here to bring information and help the people of the city of Yonkers who are getting screwed. You're getting screwed. How many people's rents are going up? Whose rents are going up? Right? Legitimate question. Thank you, Thomas. I'm simply asking, will the food drive continue if Tasha Diaz was to be voted out of the office? And this is what it's all about. Next year's election, and they're concerned, especially Tasha Diaz. She's concerned that London Reyes is going to beat her in the election next year, which is why they even mentioned London, who has said nothing about anything and has remained quiet. The guy's been MIA, but they bring him up. Then they bring up this guy. All valid points, my brother, William Ward. Why? Because he comments on my show and he supports the show. And so they're concerned that we are finally exposing who they are, pulling back the veil. And that's all it's about. Because all Tasha seems to have done is this food drive for Ridgeway Alliance, which people do need the food, but there are a lot of food pantries. What we needed Tasha to do was make sure that there was an affordable housing ordinance in place before all these developments went up. But she didn't do that. She lied to us for many months and said she was. And when it came down to it, her vote was the deciding factor. She voted no. Flip-flopping and helping the developers who didn't want to have to put more affordable units in those developments. They didn't want poor people, and how they look at them, in their developments. Right, Tasha? And you assured them of that. So who's the one that doesn't care about folks who are not making all this money like these developers? Did you see Tasha today at the groundbreaking over there for the senior living? Surprise in London. So I'm sorry, London. I apologize, man. And London Reyes should tell the village idiot that nearly half, and then he keeps calling me village guy. Please be articulate yourself better than this. That nearly half of those food distribution sites on the, I don't know what that means, website have closed or decreased the number of their food distribution. And this is why the lines are so long at the YWCA of Yonkers, and it's actually the YMCA, and at Jeffrey Myers. Oh, it's Jeffrey Myers because Tasha Diaz goes around saying that it's hers and that she's doing it. She did it. Distribution site managed by Council Majority Leader Tasha Diaz and her volunteers. Well, she doesn't seem to know her volunteers very well because I posted one video where she's going up and she's saying, this is what we do here. Me and the mayor put this together. And then she goes up to a woman who's volunteering and says, how you doing? I'm Tasha Diaz, the majority leader. Me and the mayor did this. We put this together to make sure that everybody can have it. And then she starts walking away and the woman's like, well, what about us? We're the pantry. We brought the food. She goes back, oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be able to do this. Again, flip-flopping. She's a flip-flopper, right? Because the people that volunteered there come because they want to, not because of Tasha Diaz. She might bring some, but most of them are not there because of Tasha Diaz, because I have spoken to several of them that have volunteered both at Neppahan and at Chicken Island. And they have told me things. I'm just trying to look out for folks, right? You don't want to get food poisoning here. For example, London Reyes should tell the Yonkers the YCAP was distributing vegetables on Mondays, on Wednesdays. This guy, I can't even read it, just long blabber, right? Haters surrounding the village idiot maliciously, YouTube videos and only focus on helping. Please pray that the Cater family, which I don't know why he's bringing up the Cater family, William Ward, Carolyn Elizabeth Marie, London Reyes, and the village idiot will stop these evil and vicious attacks against the volunteers who show up week after week. Hey, volunteers, any of you out there, is that how you feel? Let me know. I've offered Tasha Diaz to come up on here. Correct me. Jeffrey Myers, come up on me and face me. Correct me. We'll do it live. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Right? To show some love to the those struggling with food insecurities in our community. I keep saying food insecurities. What do you guys learn a new word and you want to use it? People who are in need, who are hungry, because our elected officials have let us down time and time again. So we are here at this point where people have to wait on long lines like that, because instead of fixing the schools up so that way people can get a great quality education and not have to wait on your food line, you haven't done anything about the schools. instead of bringing jobs to Yonkers so people can get jobs so they don't have to wait on your line, you haven't brought that either. Or you haven't brought that to this city either. And affordable housing, yeah, you let the people down there too, Tasha. Instead of making sure you stood up and fought for the people to bring more affordable housing here, you let them down. And you killed the affordable housing ordinance, and there's yet to be another one put in place, and these developments are going up. But that's what the developers wanted. Who funds Tasha Diaz? It costs $30,000 to $50,000 to run a campaign. Who funds Tasha Diaz? The developers. Who gave her the money when she first ran for office? She didn't have it. Zahi Jeris, who then took it out of all the money they were able to collect through the contributions and the fundraisers that they did with the developers. I know. I went to her fundraiser. It was the most bougiest one out of all of them that I've been in. All of them. Everyone, it was in Pelham, first of all. You're in District 3 and you're doing your fundraiser in Pelham. Why are these people that don't live in Yonkers donating to you anyway? What's in it for them? These Hermes belt wearing, Louis Vuitton bag carrying people that were at your Pelham fundraiser. They didn't look like people that live in District 3. Or maybe they will one day when they buy it all up. Right? So I don't know how any of her constituents were going to make it all the way over to Pelham in that upscale community and pay to, or at least donate a check. But I was trying to play nice. I went, I wrote her a check. It's not like I was always trying to fight with these folks. I wrote plenty of checks, but that didn't get me nowhere, right? Because I wasn't writing $2,000 checks. Gave these fools $500 a piece, though. I think Tasha, I gave her $250, though. I think Lakeisha, I gave $500. You know what I mean? And they still jerked me. So we on it. We out. We gonna do this. We're gonna expose you guys because you're a bunch of liars, right? Better than being hungry. Oh, it is better than being hungry. Denise, nobody's knocking that. Here's the thing, though, Denise. She has people believe that they have to keep voting for her, otherwise they're not going to get the food. And so my question is it going to stop if she's not reelected? Because she has done a lot of other things that people don't know that have hurt people way more. Way more. In fact, if she never existed in politics, we'd probably be better because the food would still be there, distributed, and we would have an affordable housing ordinance. And there would be more affordable housing for people in Yonkers who are getting kicked out or who can't sign their new leases because they're raising the rents, right? Or buildings that are being condemned and people being forced out now into the streets because even though the building was in bad condition, as you say, it's better than living out in the streets, right? But these landlords don't care. They don't fix them up. And guess what? Section 8 stops paying the rent or their portion. And now the people get evicted because they're not paying their rent, leaving them with this debt. So that's not right. It's not okay. And Tasha Diaz is doing nothing about that. I'm going to show you the conditions some people are living. But this is what they do really quick before I go on my wife. Oh, I'm sorry, Denise. Maybe what I'm saying is she wants to take you to take the expired food to be on, but I'm sorry. Yeah. No, probably not because she gets those fancy dinners with the developers. Right. I'm sorry, but you're right. But and what I'm saying is that, people are hungry, so they're going to take it. It's better than going in the garbage. Like I've seen people in Getty Square. You're absolutely right. But, how do you treat certain people? You still should treat people with dignity. Right. And I'm not saying you did. I'm just saying this is my point is why I was saying that, because I thought you were saying something different. You still treat people with dignity, regardless if they, are down on their luck, they're poor, whatever. You don't just, and then do it really because you want to make yourself look good so you can continue to get elected. All the while, you're not passing laws or you're voting no on legislation that is much needed, like the housing crisis we have here in Yonkers. And I'll get to that in a second. Someone needs to tell the Cater family's useful idiot that his Yonkers public school assistant wife, Andrea Vazquez, this guy I don't know why he puts my wife up. My wife has done more for people, and I will put up $10,000 on that. Anybody who want to challenge me, I will bet $10,000 that my wife has done more for people than the entire Yonkers City Council put together. Who wants to challenge me? Let's go. My wife has done more for people, specifically those who are impoverished, families, children, than the entire Yonkers City Council put together. I will say that and put 10 grand on that. Put $5 on it. Whatever. The point I'm trying to make is that no one will prove me wrong on that. No one. And so it bothers me when they attack her, but they know that this will bother me. So I'm not going to react the way I reacted when Hector Santiago was calling my wife the B word to my face. Why? I don't know. According to him, he had an issue with me and what I was saying about Tasha Diaz. So every time that I get attacks, it's always Tasha Diaz linked to it. Like the woman who was calling my wife a B through my messenger not too long ago, saying that because of me, because of her, I should say, I was protected in the streets. She said, stop talking about Tasha Diaz. I said, oh, Tasha Diaz is sending her minions to come at me. That's the woman we're talking about here. Andre Vazquez works at a school where every single child receives a free lunch. And that's what's sad, Brian. You're so, I don't want to say it. You're so uneducated that you don't even realize what you wrote there. Works at a school where every single child receives a free lunch. Why is that? Why is that? And what is our elected officials doing about that? And what about the homeless people? They're not giving them food. They can't take the food home. They don't have one. They can't cook it. They don't have a stove. They don't have a fridge to put it in. They get ignored. Why? Because homeless people don't vote. Homeless people do not vote. That is why they don't care about the homeless people. That's why they're not doing these food distribution programs for homeless people. And folks, I see these coat drives. Yeah, let's get these coats because winter's coming and a lot more people are going to be out on the street as these rents continue to go up. But think about that. No food drives for the homeless because homeless people don't vote. That's the truth. Right. And so he says free lunch because the federal government has determined that there's a great food insecurity in Yonkers. Duh, Brian, no one's ever said there wasn't. We know that's the problem, that this city has such a high rate of poverty. What is our elected officials doing about that? You can't give people food out of the problem. You're feeding them, but it should be a temporary solution because the food is already, lacking the nutrients. It's somewhat old. Some have gotten sick, according to the Yonkers voice, Ruros. So maybe it's not the best way to go about fixing the solution of poverty, right? Maybe we need to think differently. Like, let's fix the schools. Let's make sure our kids get an education, and let's focus on housing because Yonkers is in an affordable housing crisis. That's according to the Westchester County, a report that they issued a year or two ago. And when I spoke to Jamal Bowman, the Congressman Bowman, I had him on my show last year. We spoke about the national affordable housing crisis that we have here in the country. Congress has issued a national affordable housing crisis, but cities like New York are affected a lot more because of their economy. New York City has a good economy, so more people want to come here. We're right next to New York. We're like the sixth borough, so we're impacted just as much as New York City. And so that is why we have a huge housing crisis here. And I can't believe that our elected officials have done nothing about it. They're building 1 and 2 max, 2-bedroom max, studios 1 and 2-bedroom max. What about all the families? 75% of the student body in the Yonkers public schools are living at or below the poverty line. We need 3-bedroom affordable apartments. Why aren't they building any with 3 bedrooms? None of them. Studio 1 and 2 bedrooms only. And now they're building a bunch of affordable seniors, which we do need. We do need, but those are much bigger than the regular affordable housing ones, right? So anyway, why are we seeing this crisis? Why are we seeing this housing crisis? Well, according to grist.com, an article titled "Pushing Poor People into the to the Suburbs is Bad for the Environment." That's the title. The number of renters with low incomes or very low incomes, right, which is 30% of the average income, the median income of Yonkers, which I'm not sure what that number is, but those making 30% of that number are people who make a very low income, right? Those who make a very low income has surged from 3 million to 11.8 million in a matter of a 10-year period. From 2001 to 2011, those who are earning a very low income has increased significantly. However, the rate of affordable housing has not. It stayed steady at 7 million available affordable housing units. However, in 2011, that number dropped by 2.6. Why? Because 2.6 million affordable units were now being rented by high income earners, which we see happening here in Yonkers, right? People from the city with higher incomes are coming into areas and moving into buildings or apartments or buying homes in areas that people from Yonkers who earn a high income would not live in. They'd rather just go up to, like, you know, Mahopac or something like that, or Yorktown Heights. But the people from the city, they're used to that. To them, you know, they live among, you know, homeless people and crime. You know, New York City, they say, has a big wealth divide. You have very, very rich people and extremely poor people all living together. And we're seeing that starting to happen here in Yonkers, right? So the data, anyway, this data comes from a study conducted by by Harvard, the Joint Center for Housing Studies, right? They go on to say, however, that the number of affordable housing, I said that already stated. So yeah, so the number of people who make very low income increased while the number of affordable housing has decreased. And that is why we see in this housing crisis, right? We see that happening here with people higher incomes. I said that, right? The study also states that many of the worst shortages are in major cities with healthy economies like New York. That's why we're feeling so bad, right? But this is happening all over the country, right? So even if you want to leave New York, you have to, because you can't afford to live here, you can't find affordable housing anywhere you go. And then it's harder to find a job in other places where there is no jobs. That's why I'm still in New York. Trust me, if I can make the money and do what I'm doing here, where we have our other property, our other home, I'd be out. We would have been left, but we just don't make the money over there, right? Anyway, so while it's happening all over the country, Yonkers is so close to New York City, why we call it the sixth borough. That means Yonkers will be greatly impacted by the affordable housing crisis. And according to a report by Westchester County, the Yonkers is in a state of crisis, state of emergency when it comes to housing. 50% of Yonkers residents cannot really afford the apartment or home or whatever they live in. They can't afford it. Even though they live there, they can't afford it. So that means that either they're supplementing their income with a job off the books to pay for the rent, or they are getting, you know, support from someone else, or they're behind or not paying at all and are in the eviction process. That's what that means. So it's no wonder, you know, I would find a city resident living like this in squalor. This guy is, you know, disabled and also suffering from mental health. And this is the condition that he and another tenant on the second floor live in. I was also notified by a tenant that lived on the third floor who eventually left because there was no heat for 2 years. Once that tenant left, they did the entire apartment. I mean, it's like night and day. And they're trying to rent it on Zillow. The apartment looks nice, but you have to make it through the hallway first. Check it out.
I just got pictures of me just now.
You got pictures?
Yeah,
They here?
They're right there.
Where now?
Right there, right now. They're right up the block. Man, he's there. I'm up there.
And did you take a picture of what they look like? He's showing me a plate of a car from guys. He's saying that the new owner is sending to threaten him because they want him and the other tenant out. They've even offered to give him $1,000, but he hasn't taken it.
Yeah, but
You got it on there?
let
me go. Look at the mold there.
The other.
Let me go.
Look
at this black mold. That's dangerous.
The other, and Loco, he always does that.
He always sends people to kind of harass you.
He always does. Hermana gente.
He's saying he sends people to harass him so he can get out.
Like
The guy's door wouldn't close properly. His door would not close properly. It really was a bad situation that this guy was living in. I'm going to show you another video. Really a horrible situation. I don't know how anyone can live in there. Now, this is what the third floor looks like now. This is what it looks like. Once the tenants move out, they renovate it and they rent it for much more money. And this is what they want. They want a lot of people in Yonkers out. They're new investors coming in, buying up these properties, renovating them, and then charging a lot more because they know people from the city are going to be coming up. They're going to take these apartments. But this is how the apartment in the first floor and second floor look. It's really bad, folks. I felt really bad for this guy. You know, I mean, look, we could say what you want, but the reality is that someone needs to help this guy. You know, and I don't know why the building department is allowing, and the city of Yonkers is allowing people to live in that condition, why it hasn't been condemned. The boiler in the back was just spewing out water. You had sheetrock that was all wet, molded, and it's been like that for a long time. So that building should have been condemned. But what's happened is that a lot of landlords or slumlords for many, many years now have been getting away with not having to repair their properties. Now, some of them are in such bad condition that these new investors are coming in and with a few of their cronies in the building department identifying these buildings with a lot of violations and condemning them, forcing the current owners to sell to the new owners, the new investors, who then kick the people out, renovate them, sometimes or many times without permits, and while they're condemned to get new people in at higher rates. Because they're changing the demographic here in the city of Yonkers. What you have to understand. This is what I'm trying to tell you, folks. They're pushing people out. They're purposely pushing people out by raising the rents, by condemning buildings, forcing small businesses out to close down. So you have to understand what's going on. They're putting a bunch of luxury developments. The average person in the city of Yonkers makes $35,000 a year. There should be affordable housing development boom, not a luxury development boom. But our majority leader, concerned with the developers, Wilson Kimball, the woman right there who's head of Macy, is now also in charge of the Zoning Board of Appeals, changing zoning laws to do all this development. They're all into this development. That's all they care about. She kills affordable housing. Yes, she's always here with these developers, taking pictures, as well as the city council president. Two individuals that are controlled and managed by a gentleman by the name of Zahi Jerris, who operates within Yonkers politics, who is the liaison between the elected officials and developers. He's also the liaison between developers, investors, and the building department, getting them whatever they need, permits right away, or allowed to do work without permits. They're getting what they want from the city council. They're getting zoning laws changed so they can do their developments, so they can build higher and higher. They kill the affordable housing on behalf of the developers. So who does the city council work for? They don't work for you, folks. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They don't work for you. They work for you. Right? So anyway, I grew up poor, but I never, grew up like, I never seen this type of the condition that guy was living in. It was horrible. I can't believe that is going on here in the city of Yonkers, but it's not just that guy. I've been to other apartments with mold and water damage where they simply just paint over the mold. The floors are damaged or warped, squeaking, and they don't care because they want people out. They just want you to get out, and then they'll renovate it. That's the goal, right? Anyway, I'm the first to say that, most people should be responsible for themselves, right? I get that. However, it does not negate the fact that someone is living like this. It doesn't, all right? People are living like this is unacceptable no matter what. No matter what. There's an affordable housing crisis, not a crisis of high income earners who can't find a 500 square feet apartment with views of the Hudson River, right? Known for floating bodies, but none more famous than the floating body of Henry Hudson himself, who was dumped overboard after his crew went on a mutiny and took over because he never found the Northwest Passage. So they dumped him and his son, and they left him there in the cold. Right? Those are the first bodies to be found in the Hudson. Just a little history there, right? But also the pandemic, right? it's caused us to have a lot of change, right? We went through a lot of changes during the pandemic. People lost their jobs because they didn't want to get vaccinated, or businesses closed and they lost their jobs. A lot of small businesses were forced shut. Business owners lost their businesses in the pandemic. So a lot of people are hurting, are financially in a bad place, and are in need of affordable, but also quality housing. And it's unbelievable that the majority leaders sit there and talk about food distribution all day and do absolutely nothing about the housing need that we have here in the city. Do absolutely nothing about small businesses being closed down, forced to be closed. Doing absolutely nothing about the education and our school district, the condition that the buildings are in. No heat, no ACs, no programs, no books, nothing. Schools are over 100 years old. The roofs are falling down, according to Shanae Williams. I'm going to always repeat that. Yet, they don't talk about that. They don't talk about the improvements they're going to make to the schools. They don't talk about improving anything for the people that are from Yonkers. Everything is about the developers because they are controlled by the developers. Just go and look up at who contributes to their campaigns. It's public information. So we have to understand that, folks. This is why it's important to come out next year and vote. And they're concerned about that. They're concerned that Freddy is waking people up, and they're going to come out and say, wait a minute, you had us fooled with this food that you were giving us, but I can't even bring it to my house anymore because I don't have it, because I got kicked out, because I can't afford to live there anymore. Because finally the walls just fell down and it's no longer there. So keep your food. I got to go find a new place to live. That's what's happening. What about services for kids in schools who have IEPs? Tasha Diaz is the education committee chairperson, and she does nothing about the schools, says nothing about the schools. Nothing. So many parents that need IEPs. We just enrolled a student this week who was not placed in a UPK program because there was no money. 200 kids not placed. Only 150 got placed. So this woman came to us, this parent, and we enrolled her for free because that's what you do to help the community. So when you say action, not words, who are you talking about? I don't need to be an elected official to help people in the community. I don't need Jeffrey Meyer and the Ridgeway Alliance. I don't need Zahi Jerris to fund me and keep me alive in politics. I'm here for the people of the city of Yonkers, and how dare you accuse me of not caring about people who are in need, kids especially who are hungry. Tasha, I want to know, how many people have you fed out of your own bank account? Not Ridgeway Alliance, not the taxpayer money, not grants, not donations, out of your own pocket. How many? How many? So, folks, what I do here is for free when I do basement politics, and it takes time. I have to do some research. You know, I have my family. That's why sometimes I come on late. You know, I got to make sure everybody's good. The kids are in bed, right? I do this because I care. I don't do this for a title. I don't get anything. I don't do this to be a podcaster. I don't care about that. I've already established myself. I'm good. I'm good. I just want to at least fight for the people before I get the hell out of Dodge, because eventually I will. I have my retirement plan. But it's so unfortunate that so many people don't, because so many people have never been able to achieve some of the things that I've been so blessed and fortunate to achieve. Thank God, I don't know how. Why should I do? That was with a lot of resources. That was because I went to a school eventually that had so much to offer. That's because I went to a place where blacks and whites got along, Hispanics got along. You would think they wouldn't in that area, but they did. And it wasn't unusual to see blacks and Hispanics living in a beautiful house, parents together. That's what I want to see here in Yonkers. That's how our kids succeed. It's a fact. Kids who come from parents who are married are more likely to succeed. It is a fact. You are more likely to succeed if you get married than have kids. That's a fact, statistical fact. So some of it maybe wasn't just luck and blessings, but it was good planning. But I had the opportunities that many in Yonkers just don't. And I'm from Yonkers, but I had to leave Yonkers to get those opportunities. And it's sad because that shouldn't be the case. And it's not just the poor families on the Southwest side that are struggling with their kids. It's moms and parents who are also doing well, who live on the Northeast side that have struggles with their kids in the schools, who are not getting their services or the proper quality education. That's why they put them in Catholic school. All of this that I've spoken about, these people do not mention once, but they want us to be happy about their food drive. And then when someone like me comes out and speaks out, or when others from our community comes out and speaks out, they do this nasty stuff on this page with this pedophile Brian Harrod. Listen, folks, the man pled guilty to inappropriately touching a 16-year-old at a karate school that he once owned, betraying her trust. He pled guilty. He had to see a psychiatrist. He had to have supervised probation. He had to stay away from drugs and alcohol. He had an order of protection. So you're mad because I told people? So you're going to attack my wife. Well, you shouldn't have did that, Rue Rose. And it's not the only victim, because I know of another one. But that person doesn't want to say nothing. And these are the people that our elected officials associate themselves with and allow into our school buildings where there are kids, knowing this. Because if they know the other shit that I say, because it bothers them, then they know what I've said about Rue Rose. They've seen what I've posted. They can't deny it. And the fact that they still use that guy and pay him to promote themselves shows you everything you need to know about who our elected officials are. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics. I'm here for the people. They can say what they want. It's time for change. We're going to make change. They're upset about it. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. Okay? We're going to make some noise. We've only been doing this for about a year now, and it's gotten all over Yonkers. And we're going to create more noise. We're going to get together because people are starting to see it, Tasha. People are waking up because it's happening right in front of their face now. The lies, no jobs. Where the jobs at? No jobs. Lionsgate hiring so many people. Where? Everyone's coming from Connecticut to work here. They're going back to Connecticut to spend the money there. No jobs for the people of Yonkers. No real new affordable housing buildings. One here, another there. Never go over 100 units though. But you got the 900 luxury development going up. You got 200 and 300 unit luxury developments going up all day. All day. All day. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you? If you don't see it, you don't want to see it. I'm Freddy Vazquez, folks. Thank you for joining me. Today is Hump Day, Wednesday, Wacky Wednesday. Look, Nader Sage, look at the hypocrisy, right? Nader Sage is all about gun control. Well, Nader, you also are the guy that supported this crazy bail reform that's allowing guys getting arrested with guns to be back out on the street to then reoffend with a gun. I don't get that. How are you going to control that? That ain't gun control. It's madness. It's madness, these folks. They just say whatever they think that people want to hear so they can get reelected. Unbelievable. Wealthier also brings wealthier renters, right? Gentrification also brings wealthier renters into poor urban neighborhoods, bidding up the price of existing housing. And I already told you this. The number of renters with very low income, less than 30% of the local median income, surged by 3 million to 11.8 million between 2001 and 2011. Right? But the number of affordable rentals available to those households held steady at about 7 million. And by 2011, about 2.6 million of those rentals were occupied by higher income households, like it's happening right here in front of you, here in the city of Yonkers. The yuppies are coming. Hey, I'm Freddy Vazquez, folks. The truth is only found here. Thank you. God bless. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. God bless you guys too. God bless everyone in Yonkers. I do love Yonkers. I really do. I was born and raised here. Actually, I was born in jail, not in Yonkers. It was up in Bedford. But I grew up in Yonkers. I'm Buena Vista, and I lived on Riverdale. You know what I mean? I was out in the streets. I was out there. Almost got shot one time. That shit is scary. You ever almost get shot? It's like a movie. I was by his gate, and the bullet hit the gate. It's a bing. I said, "Oh, you don't even know what to do, right? You're supposed to duck and stuff. I just didn't even know what to do. Like I didn't. Thank God that these guys sucked. Those are my days on Riverdale, boy. You know what I mean? Shout out to all my people on Riverdale. You know what I mean? People have put into the apartments 172 Warburn Avenue housing and 178 Warburn Avenue who are not put into yet. I'm sorry. People have put in. I'm not sure what you're trying to say. I'm sorry. If the mayor were a real Democrat, yeah, right, acting for the people, he'd have the Schlobohm projects demolished and have new affordable housings built right there on site. And that's what they're doing. But here's the problem with that, because they've done that at Cottage. That doesn't increase the number of available affordable units, right, or low-income units. That just, it creates the same amount, right? They're just newer. Right. But that does need to be done because of the condition many of them are in. So that I agree with. But we also have to add more. Right. So we have to build new buildings. Right. Those buildings are vile. Yeah. You know what's crazy? Irv Gotti, the famous music producer, was recounting a story about when he first met DMX. He said, we went to these projects. He said, I think they were called Slow Burn. He called them Slow Burn. And the Slow Burn project, he said they were the worst project he's ever seen. And this guy's from Queens. Right. And he knows all about Southside Queens and all that. And he was just blown away by the condition of the, the projects here in Yonkers, right? Oh, so this is going to be a treat for you then. I knew what he meant, and he was right. Priorities. Mr. Mayor, nobody should live like those. Yeah, man, it's horrible, man, condition. Thank you for all you do. You have the best informed podcast in West. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. You're winning, Freddie. Keep going. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Parking is bad for the people. They have to park 2 blocks away, and garages take over the parking on the streets, and Spano is okay with it. They don't get tickets either. Yeah, parking is only going to get worse, right, as more people come. And guess what they do with the affordable buildings that they put up? They don't give you the same equal amount of parking spaces as they do with the affordable units. So like the one they're putting up on Main Street is 76 units of affordable units or rentals, but they're only putting 24 parking spaces. So half, or actually more than half of the people who live there who may own a car are going to have to park on the street. And that Main Street over there, if you know anything, about Main Street, and I'm talking about next across from Bella Havana, that Cuban restaurant in the corner, it's madness to try to find a parking over there. I used to live over there on 20 Warburton, the building that has the edible eats or edible arrangements business with 4 flights of stairs. Oh my gosh, that was the worst. I used to hate grocery days. They put into application that was not put in yet. So they applied, they put their application in. However, they haven't submitted it yet because they're choosing. They're filtering people out. This is a fact. So part of redoing those buildings, which is good because they maybe need to be redone. However, they kick the people out. They don't replace them with the same people, right? So that's a problem. So now those people have to find somewhere else to live. And then I guess you're putting applications yet, but they're not actually submitting them and reviewing them because they're being choosy about who they want to keep in Yonkers. Folks, they're going to make Yonkers or improve Yonkers, right, in terms of the the rate of poverty and the economy and everything here by getting rid of the people that are poor rather than helping them achieve more. So that's the plan. Really, we're gonna fix Yonkers, all right. We're just gonna get rid of the people. We can't do nothing about them. We're gonna get rid of them. All right, that's what we're gonna do. that's their plan. About the votes and money. So true. It's all about the votes and money. It's all about the votes and money. So that's why she takes people's information at the food distribution. She finds out where you live, then she gives it to her people who go up to Board of Elections in White Plains. They say, Mary Jones, I need Mary Jones ballot who lives at 189 Buena Vista Avenue. Okay, thank you. And then I also need Jamal Jones who lives at 195 Warburton. All right, thank you. And then I need, Roxanne, James who lives at so-and-so Main Street. That's what they do because they got their information. So then they go and get their ballots and then they go and drive over to these people's house, right? Because, they're going to do that for this. And say, hey, Jamal, hey, whoever else I said, hey, how you doing? I got your food here. Remember, I thought I'd bring it to your house today. I don't want you to have to wait in that long line this week. We're going to do this nice. We're going to bring it to you, man. This is Uber Food Pantry. You know what I'm saying? Grub Food Pantry Hub, And then so they say, but, oh, by the way, I have your ballot here. I know you're going to vote. You're going to vote for me. Of course, I bring you food. I give you food all the time. You got to vote for me. And all you have to do is just sign your name right here. Look how easy I made it. Boom. That's a voter. And they do that with so many people. Think about how many people go to those food distribution. That is a hustle made by Zahi Jerris and Mr. Jeffrey Meyer. You are helping him in that hustle, Jeffrey, right? You involved with Zahi Jerris, Jeffrey Meyer, right? And I see right through you because of your comment that you left before you blocked me and not allow me to respond, which I think is some sucker shit. You know what I'm saying? I knew what kind of person you were because all I asked you was to let the people know who have the food insecurity and may have insecurity about Tasha Diaz not being elected because they want their food, that the food will still be there, Jeffrey, and you didn't do that. You called me a small-minded and every other dumb thing you could think of, Jeffrey, but it doesn't bother me, but I bother you because I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics, folks. I'm up out of here. Have a beautiful and blessed night and rest of the week. Yonkers, as always, I do love you. I do. Thank you, folks, for watching. I'm Freddy Vazquez. Let a friend know. And tell a friend. This guy, Freddy Vazquez, on Basement Politics on Facebook and YouTube, by the way, is giving us the truth about what's happening here in the city of Yonkers. You may not like it, but I got to give it to you. Some people will hate me. I'll take a lot of flack for it. So will my wife. But that's what we got to do to bring you the truth before it's too late. Because they're banking on the fact that you guys won't realize it until it's too late. And when it's too late, it's too late. We can't do nothing about it. But we can now. 2023, election 2023. Tasha, we coming for you, District 3. Why you think I sold the house? I just closed on a house. The check is coming between 10 and 2 tomorrow, baby. Overnight. Because I'm getting ready for next year, baby. I'm coming for you, man. Keep giving me the motivation through your freaking post, Tasha. Keep giving all of you. It's going to be a lot of big surprise. I can't wait. Zahi is the new sheriff in town.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
I was raised in housing. I don't think you were.
In another one, Mr. Rubo lied to me. And I don't vote for a person that lied to
Never.
me. Thank you very much.
Freddy wins.
Never vote for a person that lies to you.
Fatality.
And we've been lied to.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez. You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez.
Take the hole, baby.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddy Vazquez.
Right, love.
Freddy
Let's
wins.
crush them, baby. Let's keep doing what we're doing. Make sure you come out to the game at Roosevelt on October 22nd. That's a Saturday. We're going to do something special that day. I'm Freddy Vazquez. We are Yonkers.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
We would all like to know that question. Let's ask the Yonkers Democratic Committee.
No!